What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games, and can you believe it? We have even more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet leaks. That's right, we got so many more leaks, confirmation and clarifications of things we've heard in the past, and so much more. I'm incredibly excited to go over all this information. And of course, guys, if you like these types of videos, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. To begin, Tauros is getting a new regional form. This is not to be confused with the new ancient forms or whatever they're going to end up being called. A new regional form of Tauros, which is phenomenal, but we sort of even knew that before. There's most likely going to be overworld shinies. The leaker has not actually seen a shiny in his game yet, but there are version differences on a Pokemon, like male and female Pokemon, that you can see in the overworld. So there is a good chance that we're most likely going to be able to see some shiny Pokemon in the overworld, which will make shiny hunting really fun again. The lack of trainer customization, because apparently you're going to always be wearing school clothes, which I think is pretty lame. So maybe Sword and Shield will actually have better customization, which is definitely a step downwards. And we're going to talk about this a little bit more later, but a new Pokemon that it looks like Dugtrio. Essentially a new form of Dugtrio, or is it an ancient form? We're going to dive into that very soon. And apparently the game is quite long. Apparently it took him 60 hours to go through it. We don't know exactly what that means, what his playstyle was. But I mean, Pokemon games last me hundreds of hours just because of the end game content like breeding, VGC, and all that good stuff. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But 60 hours is pretty good, and that means this guy has played through pretty much the entire game then. So that's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of information he's going to be giving us, so definitely stay tuned for more information. Apparently there's a child as in the Elite Four. There's a bonding quest with Eevee, so Eevee gets a special quest. However, there is no new Eevee evolution. I want to say that. No new Eevee evolution in the game. And now going to the new ancient forms. Ancient forms are completely different Pokemon with a different Pokedex number and name. They are just not forms. So that is a big thing. So this is not an Amugin's form, and the Jigglypuff we saw is not a new form. They are new Pokemon. That is a new Dex number. It would be like number 75 after 74. Like, it'll be right next to each other in the Dex. However, it is not a form. It doesn't evolve from each other. They're completely separate Pokemon in every way, shape, and form, but they're just reusing the design, which is honestly sort of lazy at the end of the day. But it's going to be confusing at first. Trust me, it's a little bit confusing for me, but I believe this. I've heard this from Riddler as well, but these new ancient forms, or whatever the actual name is going to be for them, are completely different Pokemon. And yeah, both original Pokemon and the fake / ancient versions are in the game. So a regular Amoonguss will be in the game, and then this ancient Amoonguss will be in it. However, there are no fossil Pokemon. They are not coming back. No new ones, no old ones, nothing. There is no bicycle in the game, but you do get to ride on Koraidon and Miraidon, and you do not get to fish, but you can use Koraidon and Miraidon to actually climb, swim, and fly at some point. And you can also have trainer battles on the back of them, which is very interesting. Riddler has confirmed that yes, the new crystal mechanic is usable in all Pokemon. Yes, it gives your Pokemon a same type attack bonus, but it does not give them any of the weaknesses of it, which is pretty cool. But I'm pretty sure this is only going to apply for one Pokemon in your team, and it's only going to last in the battle as long as your Pokemon doesn't switch out. So there is some downsides to it, but I think overall it's going to be pretty good for competitive play. And you haven't seen it, like this Pokemon right here, whatever this crystal Pokemon is down here, the thing behind it is the actual mechanic being used on the Pokemon. And yes, it does change how the Pokemon actually looks. It gives it like a crystalline armor feel to it. Riddler has also confirmed that we did see Sprigarito's final evolution. So this image here was actually not the middle evolution, it was the final evolution. So we know it's going to sort of look like a jester clown type of thing. It has like the black mask with the pink reef around its neck. I think this is pretty cool overall. I'm very excited to actually see the full thing. There's an artist rendition on the top, but we're just gonna have to wait and see. We haven't seen anything on Fuecoco yet, but Riddler does say that, well, Fuecoco's middle evolution has a fire egg on its head. It also looks like a hat in the round. So it looks like Fuecoco's middle evolution will be getting some sort of egg hat, and I'm sure that's going to hatch and become some sort of rooster or chicken. Pretty much that was what he was hinting at before in his riddles, and now I'm going to see, okay, it's going to probably be a really big gator with some sort of rooster motif on the top of his head, especially with the egg in the middle evolution. And then Quaxly's final evolution, which we did see a leak of, is apparently based on a dancer and a peacock. So we're going to have to see, but I can actually see that because dancing is a big part of Spanish culture. And I think that's going to be really cool. And it does fit with the water fighting because it's going to have really strong legs. And Ku does confirm that Grass got the features of a masked clown and the gentleman thief. So we sort of got a Jester vibe, sort of got a Zoro vibe going to it as well. I think that's really good overall. And just to see what Quaxly's final evolution is, if you haven't seen it, this is an artist rendition of it. I can see the dancer here too. And I'm sure when we see the full entire body rendered, you're going to see some of the dancer motifs as well. Now let's talk about these ancient forms. So we see the ancient form of Jigglypuff and the ancient form of Amoonguss, and we know that these are brand new Pokemon. They're going to be right next to each other in their Pokedex. So this new Jigglypuff would be right next to the old Jigglypuff, but they're completely different Pokemon. They're gonna have different stats, different types, but they're not a regional form, but they are like an ancient or a future form. I think both of these are probably gonna be ancient forms. We don't know there's future forms yet, but just to put that out there and how weird it is, yes, this is not a Jigglypuff. This is not related to a Jigglypuff. They're just literally reusing the exact same asset, but they're not changing much with it. And this is where a lot of confusion is coming in right now. And Riddler Ku does mention this. You can conclude that Titan got a relatively little bigger amount of new bonds. Just imagine that in Gen 6 that all the Mega Evolutions getting Dex numbers are being new Pokemon rather than forms. So that Jigglypuff is a new Pokemon in the Dex. Essentially, it's a clone. That Jigglypuff is a clone. The Amoonguss is a clone, and it's going to inflate the Dex. So a lot of the new Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet are actually just going to be Pokemon that we already know, but they've been revamped, but they're not regional forms. We don't know what the big hype is about ancient forms or if there's future forms, but they are different. They are different than a regional form. They wouldn't share the same Dex entry. So this is one way for them to increase the number of Pokemon overall in a Dex. I wonder why they're doing this because they haven't done it before for other forms. So I wonder. It's pretty lame overall, but it sort of doesn't matter at the end of the day. The Dex is just going to be overinflated with a lot of reused ideas, which I think is personally pretty lame overall. So Riddler Ku brings up a great example. Mimikyu is not a regional fake of Pikachu because Mimikyu is like its own design. It's a Pokemon that wants to become Pikachu, but there's a Pokemon underneath the sheet it wears. It has its unique identity. It has an actual design. Literally, as we saw with the Jigglypuff and the Amoonguss, they are literally the same with some very slight differences. So the Mimikyu to Pikachu comparison does not work because Mimikyu really is its own Pokemon at the end of the day, and it also like completely different types, completely different type of Pokemon in general, and it's like so much is different. But yeah, it's like a little bit related to Pikachu, but literally it's not Pikachu though. It's not like it's literally just Pikachu with a bed sheet on it, you know? And so another thing to confirm, when I mentioned the Dugtrio from before, this is actually really interesting information right here. So this person in this Discord says and confirms the Diglett regional fate could just be a water Pokemon that acts like a water surge spouting from the ground with a face that looks like a Diglett on it. It's totally water, just looks and behaves like a Diglett. And Riddler Ku says, correct, but it's not looks like, it's the same. So there is a regional fake or an ancient form of Diglett / Dugtrio coming. We don't know if the Diglett's going to evolve into Dugtrio, but the new leaker says there is a Dugtrio thing coming. So probably is a new Diglett, but it's so confusing to talk about this. But we're just going to say it's an ancient Diglett that is a water type. It could be water ground. We're just going to have to wait and see. But yeah, this is where Pokemon's heading. So we're just going to get a lot of reskinned old Pokemon with new types and probably new abilities, but they're just going to be considered new Pokemon even though they're old. And yeah, Riddler Ku also says you can speculate the other few regional fakes with the same logic in Gen 1. So there is going to be more Gen 1 Pokemon that are going to get this big revamp. So we have confirmed Diglett and we have confirmed Jigglypuff. It is confirmed that Tauros is getting a regional form, but a regional form is different than an ancient form. Scarlet and Violet will have both. So we're just going to have to wait and see on that. It's going to be very interesting, but, you know, I'm speculating right now. Tauros will just be a regional form and probably get a new evolution. Well, Jigglypuff and Diglett are going to be their ancient forms or whatever that ends up being. Now, I have some things I like to theorize with the ancient Pokemon. So we know that the Jigglypuff and the Amoonguss and probably the Diglett, we know they're not the same. They were called regional fakes from Riddler Coup, and they're literally, this is not a Jigglypuff. This is going to have some other name. If it has different stats, different abilities, different everything, and it has its own dex entry, this is literally not even a regional Pokemon. This is a brand new mechanic, and this is not a Jigglypuff. So prepare whatever you see this in the game. This is going to have a different name. This is not going to be Ancient Jigglypuff or Jigglypuff. This is going to be like Cornball, whatever, like any name, insert name. Same with this Amoonguss. It's not going to be called an Amoonguss. It just looks like an Amoonguss. They took the design, but that's the only thing that's the same. And I guess it makes sense from a biological reasoning if you think about how evolution takes hundreds of thousands of years usually. Well, if this is from so far in the past, this may become an Amoonguss one day if you bring it 100,000 years in the future, but it definitely was not, definitely has different DNA and things like that. Now, when we talk about ancient forms, which I think are going to be exclusive to only Pokemon Scarlet or whatever this mechanic is, they're not forms, but the ancient versions, there's going to be future versions too. And those are going to be exclusive to Pokemon Violet. And the reason why I haven't seen any leaks on those is because they're only playtesting Pokemon Scarlet right now. We have not seen anything on Violet because no one has a copy of Violet. All the playtesters who played the game, beaten the game, have only been playing Pokemon Scarlet. So I think that's why we haven't seen any future forms. It's just because no one's had the right copy of the game, and it makes sense. Scarlet and Violet, they are the exact same game. It is one line of code they use in the game that they put at the front when you load the game to actually switch the Pokemon for diversion exclusives. They do it for all the Pokemon games too. They did it for Sword and Shield, BDSP, whatever and whatever, right? So just keep that in mind that there's probably going to be more of these future type of forms that we have not seen yet just because we're playing Pokemon Scarlet. So I want to just end it on that note, and I want to let you guys know that I'm going to keep covering these leagues, and they're really fun, and I want to hear from you guys. How do you feel about these potential ancient forms? You know, do you like that they're just reusing the design and just making it literally a brand new Pokemon and not calling it a regional form? Has its own dex entry, stats, abilities. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Catch you guys next time. Peace out, and have a great one.